Bomber.
Why subsequent projects of The Lord of the Rings are not successful as the original trilogy? I have 5 reasons which I believe are the most relevant related to this Matter My Madison magazine. Friends, hope you're having an amazing day. I'm super buff and today I'm gonna talk about this second season of The Rings of Power for August 2024 and The Hunt for Gollum, this movie with Andy Serkis back on the scene for 2026, because yes, we have this original trilogy which is actually cool from the early thousands, with Peter Jackson directing these 3 movies: The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and obviously The Return of the King, which they were so spectacular, they were so amazing, and people used to believe that if we had more projects, more products related to this franchise, there would be as good as this trilogy, but it happens to be not the same. We have this trilogy of The Hobbit set for 2012, I believe, and we have also these 2 seasons of The Rings of Power and another movie, The Hunt for Gollum, for 2026, and I believe there are 5 reasons due that they are not so good material, they're not so popular as original trilogy. Let's get started. Number 1.
You're late.
The way the characters came across with the story of the ring, because we have in our minds Frodo Baggins with this ring, this power ring, let us say, and on the other hand we have this Hobbit story, which I believe this Hobbit trilogy, by the way, relied heavily on green screen technology and poorly rendered CGI. It was like 10 years from the original trilogy and the result is not as cool as the first one.
What about second breakfast?
Number 2, not the same experience shooting, and they have a really poor script, just because in this original trilogy they had tons of time to perform these 3 movies. They actually, like a curious fact, they shoot these 3 movies on the same road. They spent like 2 or 3 years in New Zealand shooting this movie. They have plenty of time, and I feel The Hobbit and I feel also Rings of Power not so much time into the script related to the story. In the case of The Hobbit, these books were meant to be for children, and we have this fantastic story, not as good as the Lord of the Rings. I have to say they are more like these Chronicles of Narnia or maybe the Never-Ending Story. It is not the same experience with the camera and the script. Number 3, and I believe one of the most important ones, it is always about the hobbits or the elves, and I believe this is a bad choice. I believe the world of men related to the Lord of the Rings would be far more interesting. I believe there could be options like to turn around a little bit this story in order to show it like the Game of Thrones one. We have this topic, this Middle-earth topic. We have fantastic characters and we have men, and within the world of men I perceive Tristan. I believe it is far more interesting to know how was the world of men than the world of hobbits and the world of the elves, because I previously said it feels like the never-ending story. It is more for children, it is more for kids, no?
Simply walk into Mordor.
Number 4, almost 30 years of difference. Like you previously say, the first release of this first trilogy came from 2000 to 2002, 2003, and it's 20 years from now, and it will be more than 20 years for this The Hunt for Gollum movie, and I believe it is a little late within all of this hype. I believe this could be taken like I previously said, with a Game of Thrones approach. That would be a better story to portray Aragorn, to portray Boromir, to portray Isildur in a different way. That would be far more interesting than the products they're actually doing right now, and you can see the difference in Rotten Tomatoes. The best qualified, the original trilogy. The worst qualified is actually this third movie of the trilogy of The Hobbit. Numbers never lie. And number 5, and finally,
Oh my
different CGI and cast. As I previously say, the first work feels much better, feels like authentic, feels like organic, feels like it is true to the books of Tolkien. And this, The Hobbit, and also these seasons of the Rings of Power, even though it will be a good second season, they have to consider we also have the House of the Dragon, the second season with HBO, and the views on YouTube are far larger from the House of the Dragon compared with the Rings of Power, the second season. So as I previously said, the numbers never lie, my friends. So you can let me know in the comments what do you think, what do you believe, why do you believe these subsequent projects of the Lord of the Rings franchise are not as good as the original trilogy. I believe those are the 5 facts, the characters, not the same experience. It is always about the Hobbits. It is almost 30 years since the first release of the movie, and different CGI and the cast. Actually, Ian McKellen wanted to return, and also Viggo Mortensen also wanted to return as Aragorn, and I believe that would be an excellent choice, but these projects are not allowing the original cast to return because there are different stories, like side stories, and that won't be any cool. That won't be cool for now, and 5 years, 10 years, you will see, my friends, Madison Magazine. You can let me know in the comments, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Thank you so much, I'm super buff, bye bye.